Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina. You are watching NCAA Women's Gymnastics on ESPN3. We are here inside Reynolds Coliseum on the campus of NC State University as the Minnesota Golden Gophers take on the Wolfpack. Your tableside with Rachel Garland and Christina Chauvina. And Christina, tell us a little bit today. These are two top-ranked teams in the country. What can we expect?
This is going to be an exciting meet. Definitely Minnesota coming in as the favorite, but when you look at the records of these two teams, NC State's high for the season, 196.5. Last week, Minnesota scored a 196.675, so it's still tight for NC State. The key of the meet is really going to be vault, first event that they have. That's where they've struggled this season, so if they can get off to a strong start there, they're going to have a great meet.
Fantastic. And let's take a look at head coach Jenny Hansen for those Golden Gophers. You can see there their national rankings on all four events. Beam, obviously their strong suit, coming in ranked 4th in the country.
Yeah, Minnesota just has such an excellent beam lineup, and throughout the day on uneven bars as well, they're going to showcase their really clean lines, their excellent toe point, and that is one of the things that really sets them apart, especially on beam.
Fantastic, and I believe they do have the #1 ranked gymnast in the country, so we will be fascinated to see her today. And then we'll take a look at NC State's head coach, Kim Landers, here in her 3rd season. There you can see their national qualifying score of a 195.96, just barely shy of that 196 mark.
That's right, and we're getting started here with the first vaulter for NC State.
This is Katie Cox, a junior from right here in Fuquay, North Carolina.
Tucked full there. That vault starts out of a 9.9. So as we mentioned, this is not NC State's strongest event, but what they need to do is what they just did there, which is hit the vault, have good landings, and keep those chest up on landing. That's what we're going to be talking about throughout the meet, and she did a good job of getting them started.
Like you said, I think last weekend, NC State, so they went 48.4, whereas on all 3 other events, they are capable of 49 plus. They haven't been able to break that barrier this season on vault. Those landings are just critical for the Wolfpack team.
And keeping in mind that 49 mark is pacing on a 196, which is the score that NC State really wants to get, is a score in those 196 range.
And then first up for Minnesota, this is Hallie Remlinger. Oh, sorry, we've had a lineup change. This is Kristen Qualia. She is actually one of their seniors.
And gets started right off the top here with her release move. Does that really difficult piked Jaeger. And transitions to low bar. Struggled with that release in warm-up, but handled it well there. That piked Jaeger is an E release as compared to the straddle, which is a D. Full pirouette into that double back. Nice start for Minnesota.
Fantastic. They're ranked 10th in the country on this event, so I think we're going to see a lot of those stuck landings, and like you mentioned, their handstands, their toe points, just overall a great team to watch. This is Lauren Kent up for the pack.
And she's going to vault a Yurchenko full in the laid out position. So that's what we'll be seeing from most of the rest of the NC State lineup. That vault starts out of a 9.95. And what we're going to be looking for in this vault, as opposed to the tucked vault, is for the athletes to keep their body position straight in that 180-degree line throughout the vault.
Like you mentioned, vault, this has been the Wolfpack's kryptonite the entire season. They're ranked close to the top 20 mark on every event except vault, coming in the 42nd spot.
And nice Yurchenko full there. She did pike down at the end, but got good dynamics, that height and distance. You think about the landings on vault, and of course that's part of it, but the dynamics also play a big part in that score, and she got we'll take a look on replay here. She got a good block off the table. Just has to pike down there, you see, so that will be a deduction, and that hop back, of course.
Season high of a 9.775 for Kent. I think it'll come in close to that.
Yes.
Up next for Minnesota, this is Hannah Wilmarth. Hannah, one of their juniors from Boulder, Colorado. She is a bar and floor specialist.
And really nice ray there. That's another E-rated release. And does that bail to handstand. lots of diversity in the Minnesota bar lineup. Look at that Stalter into the double back. Love that. Just that step on the landing. Another good routine for Minnesota, though.
Definitely. Minnesota, again, averaging typically around that 9-8 range. You see Kristen coming in with that 9.825. Hannah's season high of a 9.8, so she's definitely capable of right around there. Our first look tonight at senior Drew Grantham, one of the all-arounders for this Wolfpack team.
And nice vault for her. You know, she has been struggling on this event this season. That's the best vault I've seen her do so far this season.
That, to me, that looked fantastic. She was able to flare it out maybe just a teeny bit too much, had to take a small hop forward. We'll take a look again.
Yeah, I think she opened up a little bit soon for that, just slightly under-rotated there, but really strong. You know, she didn't vault last week and had vaulted some Yurchenko layouts earlier in the season, so really strong start to her senior night.
And again, she is one of their all-arounders. We will see her on 3 other events. Hannah's score coming in at 9.75 for those Gophers. So again, in collegiate gymnastics, they put up the top 6 gymnasts on each event. The top 5 scores count. So Minnesota, knowing how well they're ranked, that's going to be the score that they're hoping to drop.
And yeah, we are getting into some really high scoring potential here.
This is Anna Loper.
This Maloney into the pack salto. Love that combination. And look at the attention to the detail, the toe point.
We'll see Anna plenty of times tonight, as she is also one of the all-arounders for Minnesota.
And handles that dismount really well. You know, that full pirouette into the double back, a common combination. Remember, to be up to the level, you either have to do an E dismount or what she did, which was a D or C dismount in connection. So she did that full pirouette and it handled that really well.
And bar is actually her worst event. So her season high, that 9.875, everything else is a 9.9 plus. As we jump over to freshman Emily Shepard on vault.
And that was a big Yurchenko full. Yeah, huge. You know, didn't stick the landing, but got that really strong dynamics in the air. We'll get another look on replay here. Yeah, really nice. Again, I know I sound like a broken record. A little bit of a pike down there at the end. She could hold that a little longer. And here's that dismount from Anna Loper. Just hones in on that landing. Great job.
I'm pretty sure she stuck every dismount in warm-up as well.
Yeah.
Like, she has like a cat-like reflex to find the floor. So far, NC State has gone 4 for 4 on vault. And we're going to get our first look at senior Ivy Liu, a 2-event specialist for this Gopher team, but those 2 events that she does, she is just phenomenal.
She's exquisite on bars, and we will see her later on beam, as you mentioned. And pretty similar composition to Anna Loper on this event.
Season high on both events, 9.95.
You see that Maloney into the pack, same combination. Really difficult to connect those 2, and handles that half pirouette right on top of the bar there. Nice last handstand. And just a slide back on that dismount, but other than that, really picture perfect.
That's really the only deduction I saw in that routine. Like you said, that slide, so they have to take something. It'll be that half 10. And
here's that dismount, double layout. You know, in replay, you can see a tiny leg separation, but the judges sitting off to the side, not likely to see that.
They have a different viewpoint, like you said, on the side. You might not be able to. So senior Alexis Buechler for the pack.
Wow, nailed that landing. I'm really, you know, she's such a quick twister off the table. Doesn't get the block that some of her teammates do, but she really is able to wrap in for a twist and get it around where some other gymnasts might struggle. We'll get
let's take another look at that one here. So you'll see how quick she gets off the table into the twist.
A little bit crunched on the table, but she really wrapped that around quickly, and really nice landing there.
In real time, I wasn't sure on that height as far as if she was going to be able to pull it around or have to take that step, but she found the landing, stuck it. something that they did in practice this week. They really honed in on those landings.
That's right. And we had a chance to talk to Coach Landris before the meet, and she told us that they had been being very consistent on vault in practice. It's really showing.
This is Tiari Sales, one of the 3 all-arounders.
And check out this release move that she does. So cool, this Horkina. Don't see that very often in college gymnastics.
One of the harder ones to say as well.
Nails that double layout. You could, she's stoked about that one.
All right. So Minnesota 5 for 5 so far on the uneven bars. Last and final spot. This is Chloe Negretti, one of their freshmen.
And she has huge dynamics on this Yurchenko full. Nice job. I mean, again, not quite the landing, but when you're talking about the dynamics that you want to see out of the vault, she's really hitting all of those.
Yeah, like you said, outside of the landing, she gets a great block. She's straight. She doesn't pike down like some of the other gymnasts do. She just has too much power.
Yeah, maybe just a small pike down at the end, but yeah, in general, nice body position. And here is that Horkina release move named after the former Russian Olympic champion Svetlana Horkina. Probably the best bar worker of all time. Maybe Aliyah Mustafina fans would disagree with me, but one of certainly the greatest bar workers
Definitely.
of all time. And she did a great job there.
Nails that landing. And then the third and final all-arounder that will make her debut, Lexi Ramler.
And this routine is jam-packed. The athletes, look at this. Van Leeuwen comes back, pack salto. She's not done yet, folks. She does the Maloney as well. Sorry, Maloney first, then Van Leeuwen. Got a little ahead of myself. Unbelievable.
And she's another one. She has not missed a landing in warm-ups or in competition. She finds it every single time. Her season high, a 9.975.
And you know what impresses me about her so much? She packs so much difficulty into that routine. So the athletes need 6/10 of bonus in order to start from a 10. She has an entire point of bonus. And what that means is she's just doing extra difficulty because she can. You know, a lot of gymnasts do that full twisting double back. That's an E dismount. She doesn't need any more bonus into that. She does a toe in into that dismount, and it's just really impressive, the amount of difficulty that she has. The Van Leeuwen, that the toe on Shaposhnikova with the half turn, don't see very many athletes doing that, especially not very many athletes doing that in conjunction with another difficult release move like a pack salto and a Maloney.
Yeah, like you said, just fantastic for the team overall. So they went 6 for 6 on the uneven bars, and again, a nice way to end it with, and then again, that's just their regular lineup. We do have an exhibition, as we'll get ready to see here, but Lexi Ramler, just absolutely phenomenal.
And 9.925 for Lexi Ramler, well deserved there.
So you can see kind of the unofficial totals there down in the bottom of your screen, a 49.325 for Minnesota. NC State finally crossing that 49 threshold. I know that's just a weight off their shoulders overall. They just have not been able to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to go ahead and predict NC State's going to go 196 in this meet, because coming off that rotation, knowing they got that 49, now they know they can hit the other events.
So again, nice exhibition spot for Minnesota. We were able to talk with Coach Hansen prior to the meet. She did say she may play with some of the lineups, and she also said she will likely use all of her exhibition spots to get some more depth in their lineup, to give some additional people just some practice being out there on the floor. Going into postseason with regionals, it's a long competition.
Absolutely, and nice routine there. You know, I mean, Minnesota has so much depth on all the events, but particularly on bars and B, they've got a lot of depth on floor. They warmed up 8 athletes for floor. So, you know, I think that's a good strategy, because you never know when you might have to rest somebody, or somebody has an injury, somebody is ill, and so I think that's a really good strategy for them.
So that was a great routine from junior Lexi Montgomery there, finishing up the uneven bars for the Gophers. And that was a quick round 1. So first event done for both teams. We're going to flip-flop. We'll come back after break with NC State on the uneven bars and Minnesota on vault. And 4.25 to NC State's 49.025. What did they do on bars?
You know, Minnesota, we talked about this at the top of the broadcast, their attention to detail, the toe point, everything is just really exquisite. They stayed on top of their handstands, lots of stuck landings. I mean, you see those scores at the end of the lineups just escalating, the 9.9s, 9.925s.
Right, and again, Lexi Ramler, she's ranked 8th in the country on this event. So just goes to show that they are fantastic, and you get to drop that 9.75 from Hannah.
Absolutely.
And then NC State finally crossing that 49 threshold, a weight lifted off of their shoulders. Tell us a little bit about just what we saw that was so dynamic.
This is a huge rotation for NC State, getting their season high, getting that vault rotation out of the way, because now they are moving on to their stronger events. So, you know, they are on pace to get a 196. And keep in mind that, of course, both of the teams would like to win this meet, but it's more about the national qualifying score. That's what gets you to postseason. The record does not factor into postseason qualifications.
Most definitely. So there you get them final pointers from one of their assistant coaches, Bob Starkel. He is actually the most tenured of their coaching staff in his 8th season with this Wolfpack team.
And, you know, I think one of the things we saw from Minnesota on bars is a lot of diversity in the release move. So there are some people that think that there should be single bar releases should be a requirement on uneven bars. I personally think that Minnesota makes a really great case for why we shouldn't require single bar releases, because look at the diversity of what they're doing. Pack Saltos, Maloney's, Van Leeuwen's, and they are some very difficult routines.
Definitely difficult routines, but now they do get that extra 10th of bonus if they do a single bar release.
Yeah. But, you know, there are other ways to build difficulty. And what I like is the variety, to see different types of release moves for different gymnasts. I'm sure I'm going to get some flack for that on Twitter. I went out there, was bold. I don't think we should have a single bar requirement. Not that I don't love single bar releases. I just like to see variety.
I think the variety is definitely helpful. I think some of the changes that the NCAA has made to the rules has also bolstered some of those changes of what gymnasts are making. So let's take a look here. Starting off, this is Hallie Remlinger, a freshman for the Golden Gophers on vault.
You know, nice start for them. Good Yurchenko full. That, again, starts out of that 9.95. We will see some of the athletes later in the lineup doing the Yurchenko 1.5s that start out of a 10.
And again, freshman to freshman, this is Emily Shepard for the Wolfpack.
And really nice straddled Jaeger there.
Emily actually made her all-around debut last week. She is not in all-around today, but it is a spot that they can use her in later down the road if they need to.
And really going aggressive on those handstands. Almost went over on the low bar, but nice fight there. Gearing up for full twisting. Oh, too bad.
Definitely unfortunate, and that's not something that we've really ever seen from Emily.
Yeah, you know, she did have that adversity in the middle of her routine. I mentioned she fought through that handstand on the low bar. We'll get another look at that here.
Looked good in the air. I think just couldn't quite hold on to the landing.
Yeah, just didn't quite see the landing. Didn't look ready for it.
Back over to vault. This is Kristen Qualia.
And, you know, she was starting off for them on vault earlier in the season. So, you know, they are playing with lineups a little bit. And another nice Yurchenko full, looked very similar to the leadoff for Minnesota. Didn't have that stuck landing, but had a nice shape in the air.
Let's take another look at that. Again, the Gophers, so they are ranked 15th in the country on this event.
A little chest down on that landing, but she did get some nice lift off the table before she twisted. And
a season high of a 9.8, so I don't know if it's going to be quite there, but
yeah,
very good vault, like you said.
And you see Hallie Remlinger coming in with that 9.8 to start them off.
And a 9.025 for Shepard in that leadoff spot for the Wolfpack. So again, 6 competitors go, 5 scores count. Grantham obviously capable of some very large scores here on the uneven bars, but now, I mean, you put her in a very unique position where she really has to set the rest of the pace for this Wolfpack team.
And, you know, she is a competitor for sure. And one of the things that Coach Kim Landers told us about her was that she is a very vocal leader. She's extremely supportive and very passionate. And she has, here's that Tkachev, lacked some amplitude on that release move.
NC State actually has 5 of their gymnasts in the bar lineup ranked in the top 10 in their conference rankings.
Nice double layout there. Good for her.
And this is her senior night, so it is definitely emotional.
Absolutely. Just a couple of form issues in that routine and then some amplitude on the Tkachev, but huge double layout there. She's really been drilling that this season.
Definitely Tiari Sales.
And nice. That was their best Yurchenko full so far, I think.
Held on to that landing.
Yeah, she was really holding on to that on the tip of her toes. She may have been a little bit shy. Let's take a look on replay here.
And it's nice that we have the slow motion. The judges don't get this.
Yeah, you can see she finessed that landing, was a little bit shy on rotation, but nice job.
And she got that salute in quick and moved right along.
Absolutely. And here we're going to look at Drew Grantham, that double layout dismount. Just, she drilled that landing. Again, had some leg separation, but often the judges don't see that.
From that side position, the judges a lot of times can't see it. A 9.8 just being flashed for Grantham on that bar routine.
And one of the things I would love to see in college gymnastics is for judges to sit at different angles. I'd love for one of them to sit at the front or the back, because we often say that, oh, they're not going to catch it because they're sitting on the side. I would love to have one on the side and one on the front or back to see some of those minor details.
Then you don't get the angle on the handstands.
Yeah, but if you get 1 and 1, then it balances out. They haven't put me in charge of the code yet, or judging.
This is sophomore Meredith Robinson for the Wolfpack.
Nice straddled Jaeger there.
Robinson ranked 3rd in the Eagle Conference on this event.
And some labored swing there on her pack, but is handling the routine well. And there's that full pirouette into double back. Again, didn't quite look ready for that landing. Solid routine. As I mentioned, just the swing a little bit labored in that routine, I think. But another hit. I mean, at this point, because they had a fall in that first routine, it's really critical to get those hits.
Lexi Ramler from Minnesota.
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
She has hit that time and time again today.
And we're going to see, we're just going to say that all night about Lexi Ramler. So consistent. Remember, she tied for 2nd in the all-around last year at Nationals, tied with Kyla Ross. The funny thing is, she didn't get the best block off the table.
No, but
she really can twist. I've seen her get a better block, but she has such great air awareness.
Yeah. And they talk about gymnasts having those cat-like reflexes, and we watched her in warm-up. We watched her in touch. She has hit that landing every single time.
And 9.95 coming through for her. So probably that half-tenth, just not quite the block that she is capable of getting, but can't complain about a 9.95.
Yeah, a half a tenth away from perfect.
Yeah.
So and when the score comes in that quick that the judges don't have much to take.
Absolutely.
It's easy. So Katie Cox up next for the Wolfpack. Cox ranked 6th in the Eagle on this event. She has a 9.81 for her NQS.
And does that Tkachev as well. Nice last handstand. And this dismount is so difficult. Full twisting, double layout. Wow.
Just a small movement of that foot, but she knew exactly where she was at on that one.
Really nice. Just not a lot of athletes competing the full twisting double layout in NCAA.
The double layout by itself is hard enough, and she adds a full twist to it.
And, gets that rotation around really well.
Moving right back over to the vault, Anna Loper.
And, the back of this Minnesota lineup, these 1.5s are so precise. And, a lot of times when you see athletes doing the 1.5s, they are a little bit under-rotated. These look really crisp.
They're almost perfect. She finds the landing. She doesn't move at all.
It's a 10. It's a 10. Oh my gosh.
That is huge. I mean, it's not even my team, and I'm excited for her because that is what every gymnast strives for. They want to get the perfect 10, and that was huge.
That was unbelievable. So special for her. Big congratulations to her.
Clearly beats her prior season high of a 9.925. But this Minnesota team, they are not, 10.0s are not uncommon to them. They have had multiple 10.0s in this season so far. Right back over to bars, Lauren Kent.
A nice connection there. That Jaeger to the overshoot. Nice last handstand. Gearing up for her dismount. Some shape issues in that double layout. When I say shape issues, what I mean is that we want to see the athlete keep their hips open at that 180 degrees. And she had some pike through those, but you know what? The rest of the lineup did their job.
Yeah, and that was a great routine, especially coming off all those cheers from Minnesota.
It's very difficult.
It puts a little bit of nerves in you being on the opposing team, but she did a fantastic job at handling herself. And the final spot, this is redshirt freshman Maddie Quarles.
Wow.
Another, it's like they just breed each other, the stuck landing.
Yeah, and you know, she has a really special story. She's actually from Minnesota, went to Denver her freshman year, transferred to Minnesota, and you know, didn't drill that landing in like Anna did, but really beautiful. I'm
gonna go comparatively, you can't give that the 10 if you just gave it out, but I mean, probably a 9.95 somewhere around.
Yeah.
9.925 there you see at the bottom of the screen.
And you know what? I think that is appropriate. You know, sometimes when there is a 10 and then there's another really good vault after it, the judges can get a little excited and just go 10 because they're in the spirit, and that was an appropriate score for that vault. Great vault, just didn't quite have the precision for a 10.
Right. Exactly. And in the final spot for this Wolfpack team, this is senior Melissa Brooker.
And there's that Maloney leg separation there. And that's a little bit labored up to that handstand, but she got the handstand angle.
Yeah, having to muscle just a little bit on this routine.
But you know what? NC, really difficult to get through when you have that leadoff fall. So much pressure on the rest of the lineup. And yeah, there were a couple of form issues here and there, but overall, strong rest of the rotation for NC State.
Most definitely, and like I mentioned, we will have some exhibition spots. This is Andrea Stantic, the sophomore for these Golden Gophers.
Yet didn't have the power off the table that she needed to get that around. You know, she was competing that Yurchenko layout full that some of the athletes at the start of the lineup did, but that's why you have athletes competing in exhibition, get them some experience being out there and getting their vault scored.
Most definitely. So we are halfway through. You can see the unofficial totals there at the bottom of your screen. We're going to take a quick break as we flip over to the balance beam and floor exercise. Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh, North Carolina. There you've got a look at the Minnesota Golden Gophers just slightly edging out the Wolfpack from NC State. You've got their scores totaled at a 98.9 to a 98.075 as we get ready for rotation number 3. And Christina, what are we looking at here?
Here's this 10.0 vault from Anna Loper. That is textbook. Of course she sticks the landing. That obviously is a necessity to get that 10.0, but she also has such beautiful form in the air, gets mobbed by her teammates, and that's what's special about college gymnastics. Just it really, a 10 for the individual is a 10 for the team.
They knew it from the get-go there as soon as she landed, and there you take a look at their scores. Obviously that 10.0, the highlight of the day so far, and getting to drop that 9.75 from Kristen Qualia.
Yeah, and you know, the 1.5s at the end of the Minnesota lineup, so obviously great job from all three of those, really solid in their landing positions.
Just shows you a little bit about how much that half-tenth on the start value does make a difference. Take a look back at NC State on the uneven bars. Unfortunate incident there at the beginning from Emily Shepard, but the pack was really able to pull things back.
Yeah, really impressed with how, Drew Grantham, that routine in that second spot was critical, getting them back on track, and the rest of the lineup absolutely did their jobs. Katie Cox there, always a highlight for me with that full twisting double layout.
Most definitely. And Meredith Robinson, I know, ready to get into those consistent 9.8 ranges. The rest of them ideally moving closer to that 9.9 mark. And we've got a good one for the rest of the meet. So Minnesota going into 2 of their best events. So ranked 4th on beam, that will be their final rotation, 18th on the floor. And NC State kind of in that same spot. So they're 23rd, a little bit lower on beam, but they're going into one of their best events on the floor in their last event.
And floor is always such a fun event to compete at home in the last rotation. So, that last rotation, we're going to have both of the teams on their strongest ranked events. So that will be very exciting. Of course, Minnesota is wonderful on floor and getting started here on beam. Alexis Buechler, who has been rock solid for the Wolfpack on beam.
Most definitely. Season high of a 9.85, and like you said, and even Coach Landris confirmed, she's confident and she's consistent, just over and over again.
Look at that standing layout step out, really difficult. A nice leap combination, leap to jump combination there. Alexis, one of those seniors, was a junior elite trained at Cincinnati Gymnastics alongside Amelia Hunley, a senior at Florida, and lots of other NCAA gymnasts. Really nice to see her having had such a successful NCAA career.
Just a couple little minor wobbles there, but again, when we talked to Coach Landris ahead of time, she just said, Lex is so detail-oriented. She's admired for everyone. She's persistent. She's very purposeful. She's very resilient. Definitely qualities you need in a beam worker.
And that hitch kick into that switch side. Could have been a better position on that hitch kick. Would like to see that Botma rise a little bit more, but overall, working through this routine well. And stuck dismount on that gainer full. Really nice job for her.
Fantastic start to the Wolfpack beam lineup.
And as you mentioned, there were a couple wobbles here and there, but why she's a leadoff is she can handle those and minimize the deductions.
Lexi Ramler in the leadoff spot.
Check that out. Full twisting ring leap. That's really cool.
Again, a lot of variety with this Gopher team. Out of all 4 of Lexi's events, this is actually the lowest scoring one for her typically, or a season high of a 9.875, whereas all the other ones are 9.9, including a 10 on beam that she's gotten twice this season. I'm gonna go with if your worst is a 9.875, I think most people would take it.
Yeah. And really difficult final pass there, that 1.5 twist into the double twist. Her attention to detail is what makes her so special. Maintains toe point throughout her choreography. Was a little bit shy on that middle pass rotation, but other than that, really lovely job.
Most definitely, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. There's a reason she's tied for 8th in the country in the all-around. She's just so clean, so precise on everything that she does. This is Kaylin Fulland for the Wolfpack, one of their sophomores and a beam specialist.
And really unusual acrobatic series there. The front toss into 2 back handsprings. And I love this down on the beam work. That used to be a requirement for routines. It's no longer a requirement, but it's just it's a nice thing to see. I think it adds to the quality of the routine.
Level changes, like you say, it gives some variation, makes it, you know, your eye gets kind of bored just going back and forth in one spot. Full into season high of a 9.775 on this event.
And gearing up for her dismount here. That step forward on that 1.5, but overall really nice. Again, love that acrobatic series, front toss into the back handsprings.
I thought it was a great routine, just a little bit too much power, a little too much energy going into that dismount. Casey Betts, one of the seniors up next on floor.
And you know, Minnesota has played with their floor lineups more than they have on any other event this season. You know, and when we talked to Coach Hansen about it, she said, you know, we just have so much depth. We want to be able to get our athletes, different athletes, exposure to the lineup and, you know, prepare for postseason.
I believe this is also Betts' floor debut.
Nice opening pass there.
So again, newcomer to this floor lineup, obviously trains throughout this season, but it is nice that the Gophers have the depth to be able to change the lineup in and out and just, again, give some people some additional experience.
You know, nice routine. She was short on that double back. When we're talking on floor landings, we want to see the same landing position as we do on vault landings, for example, where you're seeing the athlete land with their chest up. And she had her chest down, kind of bounced forward out of that double back. But really nice first pass. She did that front full into the front layout.
And maybe a little bit of nerves, again, first time competing on this event this season, so just kind of getting things out of the way. But moving over to balance beam, this is junior Lauren Kent.
And pike jump into that layout step out, like that combination.
Kent a season high on this event of a 9.875. She's ranked 9th in the Eagle Conference on beam.
And was a little bit off on that back handspring layout step out, but held on to it.
Great fight there. Like I said, I think one of the main differences we'll see between this Wolfpack team and then the Gophers that we'll see in just a little bit is that, like you said, that preciseness, that crispness just overall.
And gearing up for her dismount here. Oh no, I'm sorry, I was doing her punch front. That's one of those E elements, was upgraded from last season. It was a D. So that gets her 2/10 of bonus out of those 6/10 that they have to build.
And she does it so well. She completes the rotation just so high off the beam.
And great dismount as well. Really nicely completed, had a good body position in the air on that gainer full.
So a great finish for Kent. As we move back over to the floor, we'll take a look at Hallie Remlinger.
And really nice chest position on that landing.
season high on this event of a 9.9. So clearly capable of some big scores. And again, she's just a freshman.
Nice rise through that 1.5 to front layout.
Nice double salto there at the end, which again, due to some of the changes, gives her an extra 10th in bonus.
Really nice routine there. Yeah, you know, we talked about the code changes. Last year, the code started, you had to build from a 9.5. If you met all of the basic requirements, you had to build 5/10 of bonus. This year, it's 6/10 of bonus on beam, floor, and bars. And so those athletes are asked to come up with an extra 10th of difficulty. But one of the concessions they've made is if you're ending with a double salto, you get an extra 10th, which I think is a good incentive for those athletes that can do the double saltos at the end. It's a tricky thing to do.
Most definitely. Casey Nelson there with a very unique acrobatic series on the balance beam.
You know, we talked about the diversity in the Minnesota bar lineup. I see the same thing from the NC State beam lineup, like the different, so many teams you just see everybody doing a back handspring layout, step out. They have lots of different elements in there, and she handled hers really well.
Nelson been in this beam lineup quite a bit. Season high of a 9.85.
And would like to see a more precise position on that cat leap, but made the connection well into that side summy.
And again, just some of those little minor wobbles on the landings of some of their skills.
A nice stuck landing. Really nice stuck landing. And yeah, some of it are wobbles, but also some of it are just some of these finer positions, wanting to look for that ideal position in every leap and jump.
Tiari Salis.
And this routine is such a treat. She really is a performer.
Her season high at 9.85. And out of this floor lineup, we talked a little bit just prior to the broadcast, they've only got 2 routines from seniors that they're gonna have to replace for next year. So they do have a lot of returning individuals, this being one of them. Salas only a sophomore. I feel like it's brave to do a jump right in front of the judges. It's like, please look at my foot position. Yes. I must be exact.
Whip half to front full there. Really nice.
Like you said, clearly a performer on this event, having fun with it there at the end.
Really great routine for her.
And some big scores already having been posted by this Minnesota team, just continuing right down the lineup there. And we will head back over to the Wolfpack with freshman Chloe Negretti. So Chloe, a small break. She does not compete on the uneven bars, but she is ranked 3rd in the Eagle Conference on this event, a season and career high of a 9.925.
An aerial to back handspring, very smooth there. You know, those front to back connections are tricky, and that is a place for potential deduction, but she handled it well.
Definitely, they're looking for that kind of that constant rhythm, that consistent movement or flow between the two skills, and she, like you said, she just handled that so well.
And does that tricky switch side, little bit short on the split position, but connects it well.
And again, she's got some very unique skills in her routine.
And that straddle half, that's also a very difficult element, that's starting from the side position. But she did that really well, gearing up for her dismount here, 1.5, oh sorry, double. Really nice routine.
Just those small hops on the landings. We saw it on her vault as well. She had a little bit too much power, little scooch of the feet there, so maybe a 0.5, but overall, a fantastic routine.
And
for
I think
Chloe.
The future is bright for her, for
Most
sure.
Definitely. Anna Loper on floor.
She's having a pretty good night so far, wouldn't you say?
I'm going to go with it, yeah. She's just one, like, I don't even want to talk. I just want to watch.
Lovely.
Season high of a 9.925 on this event. So she was one just prior to today. Hadn't been able to quite get that 10. We're happy to help out.
Yeah. Love that turn.
Loper ranked 22nd in the country. She has an NQS on floor of a 9.9 even.
You know, what really sets her apart on floor, the height she gets on that 2.5. We saw it again on the 1.5. And she does that Y turn. You know, the turns are not a requirement on floor. She's able to not only do a turn, but do a more difficult turn. I really like that.
Just absolutely beautiful to watch. Grantham on the balance beam in the anchor spot for this Wolfpack team. Grantham ranked just behind Negretti in the Eagle ranking. She's ranked 4th in the conference.
And Drew's best event is coming up. She is the top-ranked gymnast in the Eagle on floor, but she's so consistent on beam for the Wolfpack.
Season high of a 9.95. And again, this is her senior day, so she's got a ton of fans here cheering for her, rooting her on.
She is from Durham, nearby, so yeah, lots of her fans in the crowd. Really nice switch side there.
I have a feeling she's going to be quite emotional after her floor routine.
True.
Just her dismount here.
And just a little bit of a shuffle of the feet,
Yeah,
but really strong job for her.
That was a fantastic routine, a great way for the Wolfpack to finish up their beam rotation.
Yeah, again, not quite as high scoring potential there as she has. We'll see on floor from her later, but really strong routine.
And a debut for the floor specialist, Paige Williams.
And she has competed on vault this season. Did not see her tonight, obviously, but saw her warm up a big front double full that she'll open with here.
She has some huge tumbling. Makes it look so easy, and that is not an easy pass.
E-rated pass there.
Season high of a 9.9 on this event.
Huge height on that switch side to Popa.
And like you said, just a staple in this floor lineup. It is one of the routines that they'll have to replace next year since she is a graduating senior.
And got that, it was good to get that front layout around. I think she missed her punch a little bit.
It looked like she did that layout in the same spot.
Right, yeah.
I don't know that it traveled forwards at all. Doesn't look quite as certain on some of those landings, but I know when you're doing a 1.5 twist or a double twist, sometimes those landings are a little bit difficult to control.
Yeah, really loved her opening pass, and she gets huge height on her dance elements. Love that. As you mentioned, just a little bit of struggle in that middle pass, but really a lot of fight from her to get that around.
Katie Cox in the exhibition spot for the Wolfpack on beam, so we will have an exhibition from both teams on this event.
And a full turn requirement on beam. Gearing up for her series. That back handspring layout step out. Was off from that back handspring, but really fought to bring that, just keep that on the beam.
Definitely a little bit of a struggle there, you could see, but like a 10th here on a wobble is much better than the 5/10 on a fall. So just like we mentioned on floor for Minnesota, NC State, 2 of their lineup on beam are seniors. So we had Grantham and then Buechler, who was actually in the leadoff spot. So they are routines that they're going to have to replace for next year. And it's just great to give some of these younger gymnasts the opportunity to get out and perform and get them a little bit more comfortable on events they might not always compete on.
Oh, too bad.
It looks so good, too.
Yeah, you know, her hip angle was off on landing, and that can be very difficult to correct, but you know, really nice mechanics from her, just off. I think she looked a little bit hesitant going into that aerial, and sometimes when you are a little bit hesitant, you under-rotate, and that can cause some problems, but you know, I think definitely big potential for her on that event.
Yeah, most definitely. And for Minnesota, this is Carson Cronin.
Under-rotated on that double back. Nice jump series there, though. You know, just lacked amplitude on both of those double salto passes coming in short. She hasn't had any scoring routines. I do believe she has competed in exhibition on floor, but has not had any scoring routines this season.
And again, just because they've got some routines they're going to have to replace, it gives them a great opportunity to get out in there and perform. So that concludes rotation number 3. We've got the unofficial scores there on your screen, and both teams are going to be moving into their best rotation of the day. So the Gophers will be going to balance beam, ranked 4th in the country. NC State will be moving right along to the floor exercise, ranked 20th in the country. We'll be right back here on ESPN3. And final rotation as both the NC State Wolfpack and the Minnesota Golden Gophers head into their best and final rotation. So Minnesota, let's take a look at how they did in their 3rd rotation on the floor exercise, all counting 9.8s or above.
Yeah, you know, probably not. They have a higher scoring potential on beam. Some of the landings just a little bit like low chest positions, other issues, but you know, overall, really strong job for them.
Definitely. And again, like I said, everything a 9.8 or above, you can drop that 9.775. This is not their best event. They're actually their lowest ranked event, but they are still 18th in the country on the floor exercise.
And they are on pace to get a 197, which would be huge for them as we look at the NC State beam scores.
NC State a little bit hesitant, it looked like, just some wobbles here and there on balance beam, but overall still a pretty strong score.
Well, yeah, and you know, they are moving to their strongest event, so this is really exciting for them. We talked at the top of the broadcast about both teams and what they could do for their national qualifying score. NC State currently, their lowest counting national qualifying score, 195.65, that they could drop if they exceed that, and they are on pace to do so if they can go 49 on floor. And when we look to Minnesota, similar position, they are on pace to get a 197, which would mean they can drop one of their road scores that is a little bit lower for them.
So 196.65, somewhere around there.
Yeah, 196, yeah, 675. Thanks to our friends at the Balance Beam Situation. Great resource for any gymnastics fans looking at a postseason qualification scenarios.
Most definitely. Lexi Montgomery going to get us started for these Golden Gophers on the balance beam. A season high on this event of a 49.7 as a team, including a couple of 10.0s.
And really nice arm, and your arm and chest positions really grounds you on balance beam. So what we see from Minnesota is just really excellent execution where the athletes are setting their body positions up square on the beam, and that really sets them up for success. This beat jump, really nice combination there. Beat jump into the split half. And another one of those punch fronts, a little bit low on landing, but she held on to it. Gearing up for her dismount, 1.5. Hangs on to that stick. Should incur a slight deduction for the off-body position in the stick, but we'll see if the judges take that.
And that was a fantastic debut. Lexi hasn't actually competed on this event, and to be in that leadoff spot, again, I know Coach Hansen said she was going to play with lineups, and that was a great move on her part. Moving right over to the floor, Lauren Kent for the Wolfpack team. Kent, typically a strong leadoff person on this event, a season high of a 9.825.
And a slide of that front foot, which should incur a small deduction. Again, really looking for that front foot to stay anchored.
We mentioned Minnesota season high just as a team on beam, their best event of 49.7. NC State just a few tenths shy of that on floor, 49.4 as their season high as a floor team overall.
And you can see some fans in the background. That's the packs up tradition for the last pass on floor. The fans put the pack sign up in the air. Nice landing on that double back.
And again, a great start. So both teams, fourth and final event, just leaving it all out on the floor, literally. Up next on balance beam, this is senior Ivy Liu. Again, a bar and beam specialist, so we saw her a little while ago, but this routine it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, and you say bar and beam specialist. That specialist is the term because she is very special on both of these events.
Season high of a 9.95.
And you can see the precision that I'm talking about with those arm placements, the torso placement. It really, again, sets them up for success, and even if they're a little bit off on their feet, they can correct it. Nice split position in that switch half.
In their conference, she's ranked 10th on this event.
full turn there. She's actually capable of doing a double turn, which is incredibly difficult, but just does the full turn today. Nice side summy there.
In her collegiate career, actually, this is the first time that she's been coached in English. So she's from Canada. She speaks 3 languages. Most of her collegiate or her gymnastics coaching was in French. Moves
Yes.
to Minnesota, and now she's coached in English.
Yes, though she is a senior, so yeah, she's but she, you know, and she does that gainer is so high
beautiful.
and precise.
It just floats through the air. Emily Shepard on floor for the Wolfpack. Shepard, again, just a freshman, so she has a long career, hopefully, with this Wolfpack team.
Really high double pike there.
Season high of a 9.875, also a career high. You talked earlier when Minnesota was on the floor about just how floor's just that opportunity to really come out and perform. And both teams, just they love doing it, and I think you can see it with the way that they express themselves, their choreography. Just both teams are so fun to watch.
Absolutely. Gearing up for her final pass here. Really nice landing. You know, another one of those freshmen, she has a bright future. I think she's going to be a star.
She really does, and clearly she was excited about that routine. I would love to see her get a new career high today. On a looper, on balance beam for the Golden Gophers.
I mean, these acrobatic series are so precise, so dead on.
And she's just so consistent across all 4 events. It is uncanny how consistent and how precise she is every single time.
You know, for a lot of teams, it's tricky to kind of harness the energy of floor and finish on beam in an away meet. Not for Minnesota. They look forward to that.
They actually have the #1 gymnast in the country on their team, who we will see in just a little bit, but that was gorgeous.
Yeah, just start to finish, you know, really clean throughout, and is just, again, pays attention to those details. Love her mount, too. You can see Geraldine Stack-Eaton there, former Alabama All-American, now an assistant coach at Minnesota.
We'll move back to the floor. Casey Nelson getting started. Nelson been a staple in their beam and floor lineups. And she's another one. She just loves to perform. She has such a blast on this event. It helps that she's pretty good at it too. Season high for her of a 9.85. And this last tumbling pass, it never gets easier, no matter how much you train. It always takes every ounce of energy to get through that final tumbling pass.
really fun routine.
Great routine. Ends up pointing at the judges at the end.
Exactly.
So how fun there.
Yeah.
Nelson just a junior. Again, they've got 2 of their seniors in the final spots. Both teams have 2 routines that they'll have to replace on these events.
And yeah, another really strong routine for NC State. Just a couple of little small deductions on some dance elements and her second pass, a little bit unsure on her footing, but overall nice routine.
This is Mary Corlin Downs on balance beam. Beam specialist and one of their seniors as well.
Love that double stag, and wow, her front foot was pretty off on that landing, but because of keeping her torso and her body position so straight on the beam, she was able to hold on to it.
And again, these final competitors for Minnesota, just fantastic scores. Season high here for Mary of a 9.9. I know she's really hoping to tie that or beat it. And that was a phenomenal routine.
Really nice dismount there. Yeah, you know, she does that double stag jump, which is rare. You don't see that very often in NCAA gymnastics, and did a good job of getting her head back on that element as well. And, you know, that's one of the things I like about the new start value requirement. It is encouraging the athletes to do some more difficult skills to build up their bonus.
Negretti up in the 4th spot for the Wolfpack on floor. One of the events where her power really comes into play.
Absolutely. Sky high.
An average human could have easily walked underneath her on that double pike.
And she's got the dance elements to back it up. That switch ring really nicely executed there. Little bit low on that front layout. Ideally want to see the front layout rise out of that 1.5.
A little bit more serious of just a persona compared to Casey Nelson, who was all facial expressions and dancing. And
nice double back to end.
And just a great finish there for Chloe.
I can't say enough good things about her. She has such great mechanics in her gymnastics, and as you mentioned, different kind of tone for that routine, and I really like that.
And she's just a freshman, so again, her and Shepard, 2 of their strong freshmen that have clearly been a huge impact on this lineup all season. They've got a long career ahead of them. All right, Tiari Salis.
And she's had a great night as well, hasn't she?
All of them.
And here she has a triple series here. She does 2 back handsprings into a layout step out. And I mean, that's an example. She was a little off with her back foot, but she was able to use her technique to pull herself right back on. Switch split into that switch slide. Oh,
great fight though.
Some choreo out of it. Little trade secret. Try and make the wobble look like choreography.
Most definitely. And again, so much easier to take a 10th or even 2/10 in execution or deduction versus falling, which is a 5/10 deduction.
Hop on that. You know, she can be crisper there for sure, but good fight from her to stay on there.
Most definitely. Just barely shy of a career and season high of a 10.0. She comes in a season high of a 9.975. So that means one judge did give her a 10 in order to get that. But that routine, like you said, not quite as crisp. A few execution errors, a few wobbles here and there. All right, Lex Buechler, the first of 2 seniors for this Wolfpack team.
You can see the family members of the seniors there down on the floor for the last rotation.
They will have a small kind of senior celebration after the conclusion of the meet.
And that's about as best as I've seen her do a double pike, so good for her.
She has been phenomenal this year on this event.
As good as I've seen her. I think I said as best as I've seen her. Oh, well.
Season and career high as a senior, a 9.95. So I know she would love to get another one of those tonight. It's so fun to watch. As, like you said, everyone has the Wolf's Up sign before that last tumbling pass.
And that is one of the best routines I've ever seen her do. You know, again, so great to see her have such a successful NCAA career. Comes from such a great pedigree. Her sister competed at Kentucky, now an assistant coach at Pittsburgh as well.
So again, a phenomenal finish inside home turf for Lex Buechler as we take a look at Lexi Ramler on balance beam. And there, I mean, this is about as perfect as you can get.
This is such a treat.
She's actually gotten that perfect score twice this season on beam.
Even something simple like the positionality of her wolf in jump in the air is so precise.
So
and look at the releve and that ring jump. It's exquisite.
Her toe point, it is, I mean, it just draws you down.
Wow. Really nice routine.
That was beautiful. I know she's already gotten 2 10s, but I'm going to agree with her teammates. They're flashing the 10.
They're flashing the 10.
That, I don't know what was wrong with that beam routine.
You know, the releve, the toe point, that's one of the first things we talked about when we saw her warm up. Her toe point just and we talked to Coach Hansen about it. She said, we did not teach her toe point.
Yeah,
she came in with that toe point. And she's a former elite as well.
Grantham and her final floor performance at home. She still has another away meet and postseason competition.
And that double back is textbook.
And she's capable of so much harder. She's definitely capable of a full in, but she doesn't need it. So why not just do what you need, do it perfectly, and go from there.
And, is in that #1 spot in the Eagle, having the best season on floor that she's had of her career.
She's actually tied for 22nd in the country with Ona Lopper. Or Anna, sorry.
Yeah, it's some good company to be in.
Definitely good company to be in. So season high of a 9.925. NQS just below that at a 9.9. So it just shows you how consistent she is on this event. The last 5 meets, she's actually gone 9.9 or higher on this event.
And last pass for her in Reynolds Coliseum. Oh.
And there's the emotions.
Oh my God. I'm getting emotional. I love seeing these seniors just perform their best. She is just definition of a college athlete. Has been so solid for NC State through her 4 years. And, just showed why here. She really is such a powerhouse, great on floor.
And that's exactly what Coach Landra said when we chatted with her ahead of time. She's an example of confidence, drive, and commitment. She's confident in herself, but she instills that in others.
Absolutely. And we do have an exhibition performance going on for Minnesota here on beam. Just missed the triple series, 2 back handsprings to lay out, step out.
This is Abby Nyland.
And you know, that triple series, back handspring layout step out, that gets just 1/10 of bonus from the layout step out. The triple series gets you 3/10 of bonus. So really big difficulty increase there. And what that allows the athletes to do is make their routine a little bit shorter because they don't have to do other elements that are more difficult to incur that bonus. You know, really nice routine. I mean, the Minnesota beam lineup, it's a difficult one to crack.
It definitely is, and that's a tough spot to be in. So she had to wait. She warmed up 2 hours ago. She had to wait through this whole competition, and then she's the final competitor. I mean, talk about from going cold and just performing and nailing a beam routine. That's definitely a tough spot.
Absolutely.
We also have an exhibition on a floor exercise from the Wolfpack. This is Haley Mesmer. Although she hasn't competed this year, she has exhibition on floor quite a bit.
Oh, too bad. You're short on that double pike.
And that's hard to do just out of a round off. So most people do that round off back handspring into their double salto, but there are a few that do it just out of a round off, and it is a little bit more difficult.
She had really nice extension through that leap series, though.
But like we mentioned, they've got Buechler and Grantham's routines that they're going to have to replace for next year. So it's a great opportunity just for her to get out there. And again, she's not foreign to this spot. She has exhibition on floor quite a bit in the past.
Oh.
Definitely unfortunate, but again, it's still hard enough to get out there and to be ready for that. You could see her talking to herself a little bit before that tumbling pass.
Just
so
lacking some endurance there, yeah. One of their seniors, so good for her to be able to perform on her senior night. You know, Kim Landris had so many wonderful things to say about her. She's in the School of Education, going to become a teacher when she graduates, and so she's just a really positive force to have on the team.
Most definitely, and I believe Melissa Brooker is going to exhibition as well. Again, another one of the seniors, so just kind of letting them finish up their careers.
And, you know, when we talked to Coach Landers about Melissa, just said she's kind of the class clown, keeps the atmosphere light, is always there for a smile and a laugh. And that's an important role on a team as well.
Yeah, she said if you need a laugh, that Melissa is the one that you go to.
Absolutely. An unofficial score here for Minnesota, 197.625.
So a new season high for them. So that tops their 197.4 that they've gotten a couple of times. And NC State, a new season high as well by 0.05. But hey, we'll take it. And again, they get to drop that 195 home score that they were still counting. So again, Melissa Brooker, one of the seniors on this Wolfpack team, in and out of the lineup throughout the year. Season high of a 97.25 on this event. She's actually one of the few gymnasts that only does 2 tumbling passes in her routine, as she gets all of her difficulty in other ways.
And that's an example of one that Wolf jump 1.5.
She's got a pretty difficult final tumbling pass here. That front layout into the front full, a couple of tons bonus there.
Nice routine. Way to cap off their senior night. And you know, this has been a huge meet for both teams. We talk about both their teams getting their season high, so they'll be able to drop one of their lower scores. You know, these teams are in kind of an interesting situation in terms of their NQS because, for example, Minnesota is going to get one of those ranked positions going into regionals. NC State pretty much locked in. They're not likely to bump into that top 16 a little bit out of that, but also really safely above that 29 to 36 rank that it will have to compete in the play-in meets in regionals, which they had to compete in last year.
Most definitely, and that's one thing that Coach Landris has talked about throughout the year is they just want that bye going into the postseason. So it was a great meet today on Senior Day here inside Reynolds Coliseum. Both teams with new season highs, so that was fantastic. And we're going to chat with Coach Landris just here in a minute as we take a look at the final scores and rotations. Welcome back to NC State University. We're joined by head coach Kim Landris. Phenomenal day today on your senior day, a new season high. Just tell us what was going through your mind, your seniors' minds. How was this possible?
You know, I just said tonight is a celebration, ladies, and we use this word, one heart. One heart, it was all about one heart today. And, you know, we started out on vault, and I think we had a great start, kept the momentum going, and just looked at the whole meet just as a celebration.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about vault. So you finally broke that 49 mark. I know that's something that the girls have been dying to do all season. What did you work on in practice that just made that possible?
You know, we have just been trying to really instill confidence in each vaulter and just get after it, and today it all came together.
Perfect. And then the rest of the events, I mean, everything that we've expected out of this Wolfpack team. So 49 pluses all around. Any highlights, anything that you just want to celebrate today, like you said?
Oh my gosh. Just shout out to all the seniors. You know, last time in Reynolds, staying so composed, just being such great teammates, and then just the rest of the team. I feel like today was another total team effort, and that's what it's all about.
Most definitely, and against a top-ranked school as well. So fantastic. Congratulations to you. Anything from you, Christina?
So what is the message to the team? You know, moving towards postseason, you've got Eagle Championships coming up just down the road in Chapel Hill. What are they focusing on over these next couple of weeks to get ready for postseason?
You know, just 1% better every day. You know, come together, be a team, be there for your teammates, have confidence, and get 1% better every day, and then we'll be prepared.
Well, Coach Landris, congratulations again on a great senior night, new season high for the team, and good luck going into postseason.
Thank you so much.
Go celebrate with your team. Well, there you have it. Again, 2 new season highs for both teams out of the NC State Wolfpack and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Unofficial scores as the judges still have to sign off on everything. But there you can see the rankings, 49s all around, season highs all around. Just a fantastic day here in Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh, North Carolina. That's it from us.